Welcome back to the Arbitrary YouTube channel. Today we'll be learning how to make this twisted neckline blouse. Okay, it's very simple to make and it's really beautiful. If this is what you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Welcome back to the Arbitrary YouTube channel. Today we'll be learning how to make a twisted neckline top. Okay, it's called twisted neckline because around the neckline here a rope will be twisting and passing through the neckline to the back bodice, and it's very simple to make. To do this, I already drafted my basic bodice. This is my waist dart and this is my bust dart, and it is these two darts that I'll be transferring to my chest line to get my twisted neckline. Okay, so now to do this I need to extend my neckline because the neckline that I have here is the natural neckline of 3 inches by 3 inches width. So I'm going to be extending my neckline to around 6 inches. So I have 3 inches here, and then I'm going to be marking 6 inches around here. Okay, so this becomes my new neckline, and then from there I'm going to connect it to my armhole. This is like an halter neck dress. Okay, halter neck top, so to make it have that halter neck effect. It can be 6 inches, it can be 5 inches, depends on how low you want it to be. 6 inches is okay for me, that is why I'm using 6 inches. So now to create that my twisted neck effect from this my new neckline here, I'm going to connect it directly to my actual bust point. Okay, my bust point is 11 inches, which I have here. You can see 11 inches here, and then on that I measured my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches divided by 2, which gave me 4 inches, which gave me this my bust point measurement. Okay, but remember, for your dart you have to go down by 1 inch for your waist dart. That was why my dart is here. So now I'm going to be connecting my new neckline to my bust point like this, and then the next thing for me is to transfer these two darts, this waist dart and bust dart, to my neckline. Okay, and to do that I'm going to extend this dart because I'm doing a slash and spread method. So for me to be able to cut through and spread to my neckline, I will extend the dart to my bust point here. You can see it was formerly here, so I shifted it here, and the same thing I did, I'm going to repeat it for the bust dart also, and that is all I need to do. So now to cut this, I'll first of all remove my yoke, which is the upper part, and set it aside because I'm going to need it for my strap. So I'll just label this yoke. I'll cut this now and set it aside. And then after that, now I'm going to cut through my new neckline dart so that I can transfer the dart here. Okay, so after cutting through it, I'm going to cut my waist dart. Then after cutting, you can cut a bit like this and close it, or you can just cut it completely. So after cutting it, I'm going to close it like this. I hope you can see it. Okay, what I did was just to cut through, let me keep this, was just to cut through one of my darts, and then I'm going to be using it to close this like this. So you can see that it has transferred to my neckline now. So using my masking tape, I'm going to tape it together. And the same thing I did, I'll do on my bust dart also. I'm going to take my bust dart and then I'm going to cut through one of the darts like this, and then I'm going to further close it, and that will even further open up my neckline dart. So that is basically all you need to do. So after placing it on it like this, I'm going to also secure this with my masking tape, and then this side that is looking funny, not straight again, I'm going to place a pattern here, and then I'm going to blend it in. Okay, So after doing all this now, I'll take a new pattern paper and then draw out in my new pattern. So I've blended this now, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. Okay, you can see that it rhymes on this side now. So after doing this now, I'll bring in my new pattern paper. So I have my fresh paper here. I'm just going to place this on it and then draw what I have here out. So I've replicated what I have here by simply drawing the lines, so that by the time I remove my pattern, I'll be able to cut it. But before I remove my pattern, it will start to look funny, so I'm going to be labeling it. So I'm going to label this side center front. I'm going to label this side front. This is the armhole area, this is the hemline, and this is the new neckline. Okay, so that I won't get confused. So now I can remove this pattern, and this is what I have. So the next thing for me now is to create the allowance that I will need to twist the neckline. So on this neck area here, I'm going to be measuring 1 inch upwards like this, and then I'm going to connect it, then I'll cut it out. You can see it's very simple to make, but you don't have to do this now, you can do it later on your pattern. Okay, so I've cut this out now, and this is the pattern I need. The next thing for me now is to create my, remember this is just one side of the neckline, so now I need to create the other side of the neckline. So to drag the other side of my front body, in order not to waste too much paper, I just folded in the allowance that I created here, and then I placed my pattern on my paper like this, and then you can rewrite your, note your point, center front, armhole, neck, and hem. Okay, then I'm going to cut it out, then I'll show us how we are going to be placing it. Okay, so I've cut this out now, and then I'm going to bring out my allowance. So now to place it, I'm going to be placing it in reverse order. Remember, it is normally like this. This is normally the shape. Okay, so now to place the other part of my neckline, I'm just going to place it like this, but my center front will not be where my center front is here. I'm just going to turn it to this side so that it will be in a reverse order. Let me try to raise this up so that we'll see. Okay, so we can see what I have here. This is my second pattern, which is the other side of my front body, and then I placed it in form, you know, it was formally like this. The center front is here, but no, the other one I'll place it in a reverse order like this, in such a way that my center front is. That is why it is important to note your points. Okay, once you note your points, you won't be confused. So once I place it like this, the next thing for me is just to hold the neckline together with a tape, so that I'll have one pattern, and this is all I need for my front pattern. So I'm going to set this aside now, and then I'll work on the yoke and my back pattern. Okay, so for my front neckline strap, I'll not be working with the width of this natural neckline. I'll be extending it by 1 inch. You can do 1.5 or 2 inches depending on what you want. So 1 inch is okay for me, and then from that 1 inch, I'm going to connect it to the 6 inches neckline that I have here. Okay, and then I'll cut it out. This becomes my new neckline. Okay, so this is my front. Now for my back bodice, now I have my back bodice pattern already drafted like this. So it depends on the type of back that you want. I want a really low back, so I'm just going to be maintaining this chest line measurement that I have here for my back, and then I'll cut it off. But you don't have to do this. So let me just quickly explain what our strap will be looking like. To get our strap, you need to add your front neckline and your back neckline measurement together. This is what I mean. Remember, this is my new neckline for my front. So I'm going to measure what I have here, and this is around 7 inches, as you can see. So I can easily note my front neckline to be 7 inches. Okay, front 7 inches. And then for the back, depending on the type of neckline that you want to use for the back, so remember I went in by 1 inch for my front neckline. The same thing you did, you have to do for your back neckline. Okay, so you just measure whatever neckline you want for your back. Assuming I'm using a back neck, I am using a back bodice. This is if you want a full back neckline. I'm not going to be using a full back neckline, but I'm just trying to illustrate it for us. So now to get our strap, the measurements we measured for the front, which is 7 inches for the front. So you are going to be measuring a strap of 7 inches for your front, and then the width of the strap is going to be what you have left on your shoulder, which is 3 inches in this case. So you measure a strap of 7 inches long and 3 inches wide, so that by the time you twist it in the front, you'll be able to sew the width, which is 3 inches, to your back, and it's going to be accurate. But in my case, I'm just going to be suspending a strap to the back also, and I'm maintaining this neckline. So I'm just going to measure what I have here, which is 8 inches, and that 8 inches I'm going to be adding it to the front that I have. So 7 plus 8 is going to give me 15 inches. So now I'm going to be cutting out a strap of 15 inches, and the width of my strap is going to be just 2 inches or whatever, or 1 inch, or whatever inch you want to use. Remember, I'm not going to be sewing, I don't have any shoulder to sew these two. In this case, I'm just going to be bringing it to this back now and sew. So now I'm going to be cutting this, and this is my back. I hope you understand that. It's very, very simple. Okay, so my strap is going to be coming from the front, and then it will be around here for my back bodice, because I'm not using a neckline. But if you are using a shoulder, if you want it up, if you are using a shoulder for your own back bodice, that is how you get the accurate strap that will correspond with what you have on your front shoulder. So now I'm going to take all this to the fabric machine. I'm going to cut all this on fabric now so that we can sew it. Okay, so I've gone ahead to cut this on my fabric. This is the front part of the bodice, and for the front back you need to cut 2 of these. Then you use them to turn out each other neatly. Okay, you cut 2 of it exactly alike, then you place them right side facing right side, and then you sew it round and then turn it outside on the hemline. So to do this, it means you have to add allowances around your pattern, but I don't have enough fabric. That is why I cut exactly what I have, which means I'll just be sewing by a little. But to be on the safe side, just add ½ inch allowance around where you're going to be turning it out, so that you have your exact pattern. And this is the back panel. Okay, so if you don't want to be turning it out, because we need to turn it out, because by the time we twist the bodice, okay, this side, by this time this is how we are going to be twisting it. You can see this is the center front here, and this is the center front for this one. So by the time I bring it together now, and then I twist the body, you can see that the back side is what is showing here, and I can also the back side to it. So that is why I need to turn it out with this method. But if you don't want to be turning it out, what you just need to do, you know, in my case, I put it, I want to twist it, so that is why I placed them in a reverse order. So if you don't want that in your case, you just need to maintain what you have here. Okay, your neckline, your center front will be on the same side like this. Remember what I did before was to turn it like this. So if you want one single fabric, that is if you are not turning them out, to have the same thing by the time you turn it, you put your center front on the same side. So when your center front is on the same side, you have something like this, and then you can easily place them on each other and then sew up to where your hole will be. But in that case, it means you will not be twisting your neckline. Okay, I hope you understand that. So now this is my back. I'm going to take this to the machine now and then turn everything out. Okay, so I've gone to sew it now, and I left the hemline for the hole for turning it out. So I'm going to notch it because they are not straight, and then I'm going to use them to turn each other. Okay, so I've used them to turn out each other neatly like this. The next thing I'll do now is to take this to my ironing table and then give it a good press so that it can relax well. Okay, so for my strap, I measured a fabric of 15 inches on fold, and then I added half inch allowance to sew it. So I measured it on fold, which means by the time I open it, it will be 30 inches, not 15 inches. And then the length I measured is 2.5 on fold too. So I've sewn it here now, and then I'm going to turn it out to have a long strap of around 30 inches by 2 inches. Remember, the 15 inches that I measured is just for one side of the neckline. So when it is on fold, this is for both sides of the neckline now, and I'm cutting them together. And I'll also take this to the ironing table to iron it after turning it out. Okay, so I've gone to iron it now. This is one side of my center front, this is my armhole, this is the other side of my center front. So if you are confused about it, you can always bring in your pattern to check how it is supposed to be, so you can see that it matches like this. Okay, so I'm just going to connect it so that we won't forget. Let me just pin the center front area. So this is one center front, and this here is the other center front. So now, to form my front bodice, I'm just going to take this together here at the center here, and then I'm going to twist it like this to meet this front bodice here. Okay, see what I did? I just took this from here and then I turned it here. Okay, so I want it to have a twist, that's why I twisted it before placing it here. And then the next thing I'll do now is to take it to my sewing machine like this, and then I will sew, leaving a little space here for my rope. Okay, so I've sewn it up to it, and then I left this little space. So when I turn it out, this is what it looks like. So now this rope that I have here, I'm just going to pass it through the little space that I have, and then now I'm going to bring in my back bodies. Okay, so now on my center front, I'm going to measure from my center back here. I'm going to measure around 5 inches here, and then I'll notch it, and that is where I'm going to be sewing my back strap to my front strap. Then I'll turn it out with lining, but I will not be turning this out with lining because it's a tutorial. So if you are doing yours, you need to turn it out. So this is one of the back bodies, and this is the other one, and then I'm going to be sewing it also. I'll mark 5 inches like I did for the front, and then I'm going to be sewing it to the other side of the back bodice like this. Okay, so after sewing in your strap now, the next thing for you to do is to take them together and then sew the side on both sides. So you need to sew the side together now. So I've gone ahead to sew it on the sides, as you can see, and my back panel has a zipper allowance. Okay, so if you are using a stretchy fabric, you may need not to put an allowance here. You just close your back bodice like that, and this is what it looks like when you open it. So I'm going to take it to the mannequin now so that we'll see what we have. Okay, so this is what our twisted neckline blouse look like. You can see how beautiful this is, and I used a satin fabric for this. Okay, so let me turn it, and this is what our back look like. Okay, so like I explained, I did not use any neckline for my back, but I already explained if you are to be using a neckline, which means your back will be having a shoulder. I explained how you are going to go about the strap in the video. So I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Let us know what you think about this in the comment section. See you in the next one. Bye.